the following show, Conversations with Edigga, does not reflect the views of Charm City Direct TV. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Conversations with Edigga, where insightful dialogues unfold. Join host Edigga as he dives into captivating discussions with music artists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries from around the world. Get ready to explore diverse perspectives, gain valuable insights, and be inspired. This is Conversations with Edigga.
Come on, yeah. All right, y'all.
Yes. You know, I am never ready. I am never ready. And as you can see, I'm looking at a different screen. I am like all over the place today. Well, nevertheless, it is Sunday. That's right. It is Sunday, good people. It is hot. Not hot. Can't say hot. Hot. Like you about to hot. In the city of Baltimore, ladies and gentlemen, this is Conversations with Edigga. I am your host, the man that you all know and love, Edigga. Yes. And I am going to attempt to have a great show today because, like always, we got some stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Before I go on, I just want to say shout out to everybody that is watching and listening, because you can hear this rebroadcast on Soul Station Radio in the UK. Yes. And let me tell you, good people, Thursdays at 11 o'clock p.m., make sure you are glued in. Make sure you are tuned in to Soul Station Radio in the UK for Conversations with Edigga. Your boy has been doing a lot. He has been doing a lot. I'm wearing MIDI hats. I'm taking them off and putting them on, taking them off. A lot of people has been hitting me up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And make sure you are tuned in to WLEO 26.7 online radio every Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because Conversations with Edigga can be heard in its entirety over there on our sister station. And I cannot forget, some great shows has been added. Of course, I'm talking about my good friend Melvin Jordan. Gospel Vibrations. He is on WLEO radio. Started an hour ago. He might be finished now. So make sure you are checking him out every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, along with his good friend, and now my good friend, Mr. Sam Smith. He is the host of Grown Folks Music. Yes, for the greatest, for the kickback, put on your slippers type of music, with a cigar, with a nice little drink. Sit back and listen to some grown folks music every Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I cannot forget my girl. She don't know this. I'm her new fan. She has a new fan in me. And I'm talking about the Vibe Creator and her show. It's a vibe. Midday mix show. You see, I'm excited. I'm getting all tongue-tied and stuff. Make sure you check her out every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturdays is not going to be the same with some good hip hop. You listen to this music now, it's all right, but some good hip hop with the Mixtape Addict radio show with my man DJ King Flow. Make sure you are checking him out every Saturday at 12 noon. And we're going to slow it down for the Slow Down Show Mondays at 8 p.m. with my man DJ Doc D. Like I said, your boy has been working. Yes. Woo. Yes. And today, good people, we are going to be talking about these topics coming up. First, is Bronny James really ready for the NBA? Could you say this is nepotism? Can you say that LeBron James has money and just want to see his son play alongside with him like they are in the backyard and playing? We going to get into that. And to help me talk about this topic is my good friend. I'm going to bring him on. I don't know why he's not in here.
I'm in here.
There he is, my man, Mr. Brian Snow. How are you today, sir?
I am doing fantastic, my friend. How are you doing?
Hey, man, I am doing wonderful. I just want to say thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining me to talk about this topic.
Thank you
And
for
in
having
fact,
me.
Brian, when I was putting this show together and I was looking at uh this topic, or everybody is talking about it, this Bronny James and LeBron James, the first person that popped in my head was you. Because of your overwhelming excitement for Mr. LeBron James.
You are a
And
nut for saying that, and I love you. I love you. You're a nut for saying that because you are not the first to um, greet me that way with that bit of laughter and sarcasm
all
all
rolled into
rolled
one,
into one.
Yes.
You know what makes this? You know what makes this so great? My kids were the first one when I got the word that Bronny, and my kids don't like sports as
Okay.
much as I, but
Okay.
when they got word that Bronny was drafted,
Right.
both my daughters, my son, and then my wife all asked me the same question that you're going to ask me.
Yes.
So and I was driving, when you got a hold of me, I was driving to get dessert for me and my family. And the grown folks show, sit on back with your favorite drink. Well, for me, it's a little bit of iced tea, so I got to be nice to my body since I'm still here after beating stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Right.
So fire away. Let's go.
Hey, man, before we get into that, I want to play this video. It was a commentator, or he was a guest on one of these sports shows. I'm not sure.
Well, they
And
ain't mine, and they don't deliver the truth like I do.
right.
So I'm just listen. Do you know how many times people have come to me? A, since I've been on your station, and B, since I created 3 more stations of my own. Do you really talk sports? Do you listen? They
Yeah.
listened, and they got back to me, and they said, "Man, nobody says it like you do because they're scared."
Yeah. Very
And,
scared.
and 3 years ago, when you approached me, you said, "I want your show on my network." It wasn't, folks. It wasn't a question. It wasn't even a command. It wasn't even a sentence. It was a demand. He demanded that I anchor his network, which I'm more than happy to do because I anchor 4 networks right now, working on a 5th.
That's what's up.
I mean, Edigga said, "I demand your show anchor my network in the mornings. I don't care what time. I know what you're going through. I know you're going to change times on me because you're getting ready for football and you got to pay attention to your doctor's schedule and your wife's schedule. But I want your show on my network." Done.
The greatest show on the network right now, on the internet, right? I need to say that. And I'm not just saying that because you're here right now.
Right.
One of the greatest shows because it's so much. I mean, it is so much into one. You got laughter, you got knowledge, you got history, you got sports history. It's all over the place, and I love it. There's never a dull moment on
And there's
Snowman
never
in the morning.
and there's never gonna be a. How can we have a dull moment when we're starting people's day?
Yes, yes.
And I will tell you right now, and tell the other networks that want a piece of this, Labor Day, we make the switch to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
9 a.m. And the reason we're making the switch, not only does my crew and I believe we can kick the other sports shows' asses, we're going to prove it by kicking their asses.
That's what's up. We're going to get into this quick video and pretty much lay the foundation of the burning question. Is Bronny James ready for the NBA? And I forgot to put nepotism because this is clearly
You,
nepotism.
you think?
You know.
You think?
Here we go.
I haven't said the word yet because I'm waiting for tomorrow.
Right.
And I will warn you all right now. If you think my opinion of Bronny and LeBron and Bryce is going to change, I got some news for you. See, before you play the video, people who don't know me or know my show, Julius Erving got me started in the NBA. Then I discovered Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Yes.
And in 1984, I don't know, some kid out of North Carolina who had the absolute nerve to wear number 23. And now everybody wants to wear 23 in his honor. I believe his name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. The man who took listen, Larry and Magic saved basketball in 1979. Okay? They got the games live again and they brought in a ton of money.
Yes.
But when Michael showed up in 1984, the league turned upside down and was bringing in money while David Stern was sleeping.
Right.
So if y'all want to think, and I'm going to lay this foundation right here, if y'all think LeBron James was revolutionary to the game of basketball, I have one question for you.
What in the all types of blue hell
are you thinking? Thank you, Chris Baseball.
Yes. Actually, that's the name of the show. What in the blue hell?
No, you gotta say it right.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Let's get into this video, man.
Okay.
There's 0% chance of that happening.
Okay, I like that 0% chance. Good, so, and that's right.
Bronny James, I feel bad for him because he is not an NBA-ready player.
Correct.
It is in his best interest to come back to college and play potentially somewhere else. Transfer portal, you can go wherever you want, but play for a good program and develop. He needs to be at the college level developing. He is not ready for the NBA. He will get overwhelmed by NBA players. Nobody's going to pull any punches when they're guarding him and he gets in a game. But this is a guy that, for me, is not going to last very long in the NBA. And I feel bad for him because the discourse around this, guys, there's way too much pressure being put on this kid. When have we ever talked about a 55th pick in the NBA draft? The answer is never. Bronny James couldn't handle playing for UConn. Oh, there's a bomb. We got to be honest here. Bronny James is not ready to be a marquee college player, nor alone an NBA player.
I agree.
It's not happening.
Hey, man. I watched this at least 10 times. And
I got the same clip.
right. I watched this at least 10 times and I said the same question. But okay, so before I go on, I just need to say one person pointed that out, and this guy works at my job. He said that so the father and son aspect, and I kind of understand it, but quickly I dismissed it. Here's why. But this is what he said. He said, who what father don't want to see their son exceed or make it possible for their son or daughter, for that matter, to be great? Now, my hand raised as soon as he said it, because I said anybody can do any goddamn thing when you have a multitude of money. You can do almost any and everything when you have name recognition. You can dictate where your son is going to go.
Yep.
When you have a bucket load, tower load full of money.
Carlos Boozer, anyone?
Where's the lie?
No. Say it right. Say it the way I say it in the morning. Find the lie.
Find the lie.
Let me say this.
I'm just keeping it a buck.
Let me just. No, I'm going to keep this $100. Was LeBron ever ready to come into the NBA in 2003? Okay, let me add a little gas to this fire. In 2003, we saw the biggest case of nepotism ever. Because before even LeBron set foot to floor or foot to stage, tell me why his mom has a brand new Hummer. Tell me why we had to suffer. And yes, I use the word, and I'm going to continue to use the word. We had to suffer through an entire offseason, and the lottery in 2003 was fixed, but no one wants to call that out aloud, for Bronny to go home. Let me say that again for those of us in the back at the old Baltimore Arena. Or in my case, for my wife, in the back of old Market Square Arena. Or for me, in my hometown, and you know where I'm going.
Yes.
The old head at Old Chicago Stadium.
Yes.
All right?
Right.
LeBron wasn't ready in 2003 to do what a lot of people thought, which was take over the NBA. Child, please. Kobe Bryant was still playing. The Los Angeles Lakers were still a thing. The Detroit Pistons, Ben Wallace, and Chauncey Billups were still a thing. Nobody wants to mention the San Antonio Spurs, right? Who were in the process of winning 5 championships within that time.
Right.
You know, LeBron didn't even become a thing until he decided to take his talents, whatever talents he had, and take his ass and the rest of them to South Beach. You want to know the real reason why he went to South Beach? He had a love child.
Wow.
Look up the name Sharon Reed. And the recent conversations that I saw online, oh my God, he's a hell of a man. Then explain Sharon Reed. Then explain the fact why he doesn't bring that child to light. Then explain the fact that there was a fellow who plays in San Francisco, standing 6'3" and 200 pounds, and is entering his 16th year out of Davidson College. You know who I'm talking about. Wardell Stephen Curry II, a.k.a. the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. Tell me why he was able to do something that LeBron has never done.
Wow.
I'll give you 3 things LeBron has never done that Steph Curry did, Kobe Bryant did, Michael Jordan did, Julius Erving, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. I don't need to go on with that list, but I'll go on anyway. These guys that I just named, Steph Curry included, found something that they could work on and turned it into a weapon which revolutionized the NBA. I've often said about Steph Curry, he did one thing that revolutionized the NBA forever in its modern time in the 21st century. He took an anomaly, which was the 3-point shot, and turned it into a weapon.
Wow.
He's the reason why teams are attempting 20 to 30 3-point field goal shots per game. 20 to 30 because of one player who seized the opportunity, worked on his craft, something LeBron never did, and something Bronny never did. Bronny got by playing pickup basketball in the parkway with his brother or with his father.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
He got away with it. He got to USC, had a heart blip, and no one wants to say the right thing, which was, Bronny, you should have walked away then. Keep your life in order, young man. Right. But no, you want to please your father, and God knows I understand that. I wanted to please my dad. My dad got on me about chasing my dreams. Right. Okay?
Right.
A message echoed from him through my children and through my wife. I get it. I totally get it. But when you're not ready to make the impact that other players before your father came in did, then remove yourself from the equation.
Right.
You got USC at your fingertips. You got Cedar Sinai at your fingertips. Make sure your body's right and make sure your game's right. Because I've had many people ask me, and I know they've asked you, have you watched this game? Have you seen what they did? Yeah. And I'll put it in a simple sentence. He ain't done shit.
Right. Now, when they first announced it, because of course, when I found out, it was like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And how LeBron is like, I'm gonna make history. I'm gonna bring my son in and this, that, and the third.
That should have told you everything you needed to know right there.
Right. But here's the burning question. What about education?
That answer your question?
What about nobody has talked about or said anything to the fact of education, continuing education? Like, make sure you straight. Make sure you got your education
because he's
in college.
I'll answer that question because he's Bronny.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks, he's going to make a ton of money playing basketball when he can't play worth a damn. Oops. And if you think, and this is for you, and if y'all think that Bronny can play basketball when he couldn't even prove it at USC, you fool! Find the lie. Find the lie.
Find the lie. And I say this a lot, because a lot of people, they get on me about, basketball. One, I don't watch it because one of my
it ain't the same anymore.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore. And I stopped watching it when Michael Jordan stopped playing. I'm gonna be honest.
April 15th, 2003 was the day I finished my association with NBA. I mean, granted, I still cover the Warriors, but I don't cover it with, and I admitted this aloud, and you've heard me admit this aloud on my own show. Right. I don't cover it with the fervor that I used to because it is not the same. It's not must-see TV anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, the NBA Finals were on ABC. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah. And that was the thing. Guys had the job was like, I watch the finals. Got to watch the finals. And every now and then I peeked in, and I looked and I said, I said it. I said the Celtics going to win. I said the Celtics was going to win. Mm-hmm. And that's for a person who don't watch or keep up with it, the whole stats and all that. But when Michael Jordan was playing, I was watching.
Yes.
Because he gave me a show. He gave me something to watch.
And that is a sentence to power for not only him, but for a franchise that waited 25 years to claim their first title on June 12th, 1991. And everybody wants to throw, well, he didn't beat the Celtics. Well, he kicked their ass in the regular season, 120-100. That seems like a win to me.
So for everybody who is calling us haters on LeBron or, LeBron haters, I'm not sitting here and I'm not saying that I hate this man or hate on this man. I'm merely saying the simple fact of nepotism.
You know why people listen, I get the same thing when I said the same thing.
Right.
You and I talked about it right after the moment it happened.
Right.
In fact, I can read Edigga's mind in that case, and it's something that a lot of old schoolers have said to me. Do you believe this shit?
I just know. I just now. Granted, spend a little bit more time in where is he at? UFC, UCLA, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Spend a little time
Yeah,
there. USC, and further your education before
you
enter this dominant sport. Because your daddy ain't gonna be able to save you all of the time.
He sure ain't
When
now.
you catch them elbows to your head and to your chest, your daddy is not going to save you all the time, Bronny. I'm just
all I'm gonna
say
is Bronny James versus Draymond Green.
Oh my God, he is going to eat him.
He's going to knock some sense in and out of him.
You should have stayed in college, boy.
At the same way, and people don't want to say this aloud, the same way that Draymond Green knocked some sense in and out of his pops.
They are waiting for Bronny James to come. Now, a part of this is exciting because I want to see what the other players do to Bronny James when he get there.
Yep.
That's the thing. But like I said, Bronny, your daddy is not going to be there all the time. Because we all know that LeBron James is accident prone. He is injury prone. I mean, this nigga, he pluck out an eyebrow and he's out for the fucking season. Let's keep it
2021, anyone?
I saw a clip.
2021 against the Phoenix Suns, anyone?
Right. I saw a clip where the dude brushed his hair and he's on the sideline just, He is injury prone, people. So, Bronny, don't get used to your daddy being there when you get them elbows to your head and neck.
And especially when you get poked in the eye when you find yourself in the lane when you're not supposed to be.
But here's a good thing. Well, it's not a good thing. And them acting classes are doing him good because his father is a good actor. Hey, Bronny, if you get poked in the eye, do this. I'm just saying.
You know what? I'm waiting for that first time Bronny drives down the lane and Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert is waiting for him. I'm waiting for that one time. And I mean this from a fundamental basketball standpoint. I wish nothing but success for the young man if he's ready to play.
Right.
I wish nothing but success for the young man when he gets ready to prove himself.
Right.
I'm just waiting for that first time he gets challenged by Nikola Jokic. And Nikola Jokic sees the ball, sees him, looks at the ball and goes El Smacko, and the Nuggets are running the other way. I'm waiting for him to go up against Jaylen Brown and try to run that crooked crossover that his father has, and Jaylen Brown picks his pocket and sticks his tongue out at him. Nah. Now get your ass down court. I'm waiting for that one time. I don't want to see any interviews with Bronny. I don't want to see any profiles on Bronny because we're going to see it all summer. We're going to see it all summer and all fall.
We got a new name for LeBron. LeBum.
LeBum. LeBum. LeBitch. LeFraud. LeCheater. Take your pick. Take your pick. I'm waiting for the time Stephen Curry picks his pocket clean.
Yeah.
Because
I want to see.
Listen, Steve Kerr say, you see that? You see that rookie right there? Sick him. That's all the coaches are gonna say. Sick him.
Yeah, I want to see it too. Now he can come in and prove us wrong, but I'm almost certain that it's not going to go good.
That's the only reason. Look, I'm not even going to do any play-by-play coverage of the Lakers, okay? And I know many guys who do virtual play-by-play coverage, like myself. You know, they admitted to me, I'm not covering the Lakers. I'm not either. I'm covering the teams that play the Lakers and kick their ass. I didn't cover the second half of the season because, you know, a lot of stuff going on with my health and trying to get that all together, and I'm getting everything together for the fall. I'm just going to do post-game videos when the Lakers get their ass kicked.
Right.
That's all I'm going to do. I mean, again, at the top of the show, what's the question?
What in the all types of blue hell
were the Lakers thinking and taking his ass? I swear to God, it's every goddamn time I'm on the show, man. Kevin.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
You truly can't. And of course, you know, oh my God. Of course, you know, Stephen A. Smith is going to do.
You fool!
Jeannie Buss.
You fool!
Rob Pelinka.
You fool!
LeBron James himself.
You fool!
To think that he's ready.
You fool!
I'm waiting for that first drive. He comes down the lane and an experienced player is waiting for him. Where did he give him a
tiger uppercut
and try to send him to the line and make 2 free throws?
Sonic boom.
Exactly. Give me this.
Sonic boom.
And
yoga fire.
And
Yeah.
And
tiger uppercut.
And to use my beautiful wife, for those of you who think that Bronny's actually going to do something in the NBA, gentlemen, my wife poses this command.
Mister, will you please wake up?
Listen, I'll say it again. I wish nothing but success for the young man, but you've watched the NBA for a while. I've watched it. We grew up old school. Right. We know that players salivate for rookies.
Right.
So they can teach them a lesson.
Right.
Because when they come down, and I mean this from the most fundamental point, when we grew up watching the NBA, if you decide to come down the lane, you're going to get whacked and you're going to take 2 free throws. They need to get back to that. And I mean that in making a play on the ball. Okay? Because I have people, I've heard, you know how people get. Mm-hmm. It's the 21st century.
Right.
You know how people get. And I will say this aloud, and people are just going to have to deal with it. You know how black people get. You know how they get. I'll give you the best example of follow a black player no matter what. His name is Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Do you see what they're saying about Caleb Williams?
No.
You don't want to. Because when Caleb Williams got drafted, I didn't even do draft coverage that night. I didn't do NFL draft coverage that night because my wife commanded me to get off this computer and go to bed. So I listened. I got off the computer and I went to bed.
Right.
So when Caleb Williams got drafted, just the same as Bronny got drafted, all of these tropes came in and, oh my God, he's going to change the team. He's going to make them better. And the question I have in mind,
what in the all types of blue hell
is Caleb Williams going to do for the Chicago Bears, a team that has never in life had a franchise quarterback or ever had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards in a season?
Right.
What the hell is Bronny going to do when his dad is busy holding the Lakers hostage himself?
Right. Right.
He opted out of his contract just so Jeannie Buss can back 2 Brinks trucks up to him. And what do you think? And what do you think LeBron's going to do? He's going to take one of those bags out of his truck and slip it to his son. Come on,
Right.
it's right there. It's right there. And when he doesn't do well, thank you, Lawrence Ross, for this. Everybody is going to have their litany of excuses ready for Bronny, and they're the same ones they had for LeBron, who hasn't done shit in 21 years.
Right. Hey, we're going to take this quick break. I want to thank my special guest for coming on and talking about this topic. Is Bronny James ready for the NBA? I think we all know that answer.
Hell no. To the no.
I wish
no.
I had that sound.
Hell to the no. Hell to the no. You know what? I'll give you one more.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Mr. Brian Snow, he is the host of Snowman in the Morning, president and CEO of Snowman Media. Tell everybody out there how they can reach you, how they can tune in.
Oh, man. 10 a.m. Eastern weekdays for Snowman in the Morning. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on WLEO 26.7. If you're tuning in audibly, you can also find us on Spotify and iHeart for all of our interview clips and our main clips during the day. YouTube.com/@Snowman Multimedia, and my new play-by-play channel, SNWMN Multimedia, takes flight tomorrow.
Yes. Everybody, my man, Brian Snow, thank you, sir, for coming in.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
We got a lot more to talk about. Excuse me. We got a lot more to talk about. Coming up next, she is being called unprofessional. And I'm talking about none other than Miss Pat. Yes, of the Miss Pat show. She is being called unprofessional, rude, and all kinds of stuff. And we're going to talk about her when we come back. This is Conversations with Edigga. I am your host, the man that you all know and love, Edigga. Don't go nowhere. Much more to come.
DJ Music Conference, July 18th through the 22nd in Orlando, Florida. Come and network with the DJs, producers, photographers, industry tastemakers, and also party listening events and more. It's the 13th annual Fleet DJ Music Conference. This is your event. They're making your career move here in the entertainment industry. For more info, call 404-465-1546. 404-465-1546.
People, make sure you are tuned in every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WLEO 26.7 online radio for the new show. It's a Vibe Midday Mix Show, hosted by The Vibe Creator. That's right, good people. Make sure you're locked in, you're tuned in to the new show. It's a Vibe Midday Mix Show, hosted by The Vibe Creator, only on WLEO 26.7 online radio.
Have you heard?
No. What?
WLEO 26.7 online radio is airing grown folks music every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Is Sam Smith still the host?
Sam Smith, baby.
Yes, and he still talks too much.
No, I don't.
I remember listening to his show, and right in the middle of the song he started to sing.
I am sure he messed the song up.
Y'all are a bunch of haters.
Okay. Can we get back to making the promo for WLEO 26.7 online radio?
No problem.
Don't forget to check out Grown Folks Music, heard every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Heard on WLEO 26.7 online radio. And oh yeah, it's hosted by Sam.
Beep, we are out of time. I always wanted to say that.
Did you say his last name?
No one cares.
Y'all really are a bunch of haters. Wait until I talk to Mr. Harris about y'all. Sam Smith is the host of Grown Folks Music that can now be heard on WLEO 26.7 online radio.
Join me every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the fastest 60 minutes on Gospel Radio Today, which is entitled Gospel Vibrations, which is God's show. And I am your host, Melvin Jordan. This show is derived to uplift, inspire, and encourage through the inspirational sounds of gospel, and you will also receive an encouraging word along the way. It's Gospel Vibrations on WLEO 26.7 online radio every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And welcome back to the show. Yes. If you're just joining in, this is Conversations with Edigga. I am your host, the man that you all know and love, Edigga. And joining me to talk about the subject or the topic of, is Bronny James ready for the NBA? If you missed it, my good friend, Mr. Brian Snow, he is the host of Snowman in the Morning and president and CEO of Snowman Media. What can I say, good people? We still got a lot to talk about, starting with Miss Pat. You all know her. She is the charismatic comedian who has no filter on her show, the Miss Pat Show. I can honestly say that I have never seen that show. And the reason being is in TV, and I think Tyler Perry pretty much started this, was, a scene should not take a long time to be delivered. You see what I'm saying? Say what you gotta say and get the hell off the stage. And Tyler Perry started this, the dragging out a scene. I know there's a professional term for it in Hollywood, but as a viewer, as a person that watches TV regularly, you can sense the timing of a scene. Now, as of late, a person has came forward and said that they worked with Miss Pat and said that she was unprofessional and very rude. Now, that comes to no surprise if you ever watch the show. And like I said, I never watched the show, but I saw little tidbits and little, little sneak peeks at the show. But here's what this person had
show on BET, and I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. If I don't ever have to work with Pat again, if I never in my damn life have to ever work on the set with Miss Pat again, it will be too soon. Miss Pat was the most rudest, most unprofessional bitch I have ever experienced in a working environment. She was rude, she was unprofessional, she was ignorant as all hell, and she was very demeaning to everybody on that doggone on that team. I will never, ever, ever, ever forget. We were sitting down in the middle of the studio for a table read, because in the mornings we read for the to go over the script. She walked in the middle of everybody reading, and I'm not lying, there's 30, 40 people there that can attest to this. She walked in and she said, don't nobody this morning say a MFing thing to me if they don't want to have to deal with me at the type of morning that I'm going through. And so, mind you, at the time, I only got 2 little lines. So I'm sitting there in my mind thinking to myself, who in the hell is she talking to? I'm looking at her like, who in the hell is she talking to? Because I'm only here for a small cameo and it's 2 lines. And I promise you, I have no problem leaving. That's what was going through my mind. I have no problem leaving because it's not even really paying me anything. And I'm thankful for the opportunity, but I'm not finna be spoken to. And granted, she was not talking to me directly. She was not speaking to me directly. It was a circle of us. She was speaking to everybody. Then outside of that, she goes, then outside of that, she goes, "Can somebody go get my breakfast?" And that was the cue for, I guess, the production assistants to run to the back and go get her breakfast. Mind you, breakfast is set up early and everybody, goes and gets their respective breakfast and comes down and eats. Now, here's the thing. Here is why I was disappointed. I was extremely disappointed because when you look up at all of the signage in the place, it says The Miss Pat Show. It says The Miss Pat Show. And I'm like, wow, this was very disappointing because you are the leader of all of this. You are the leader of all of this. Every paycheck, every job in this room is predicated upon you. And this is the way you come in and you treat people and you speak to people. And I'm going to be honest with you. Here is what it gave for me. What it gave is, I am a ghetto, ignorant bitch from the slums of Atlanta who not used to having nothing. I'm from the streets. I sold drugs and I went to prison. Now I have 2 nickels to rub together and I'm rich and I'm better than everybody. And this is how you act when you rich. You know those people who think, oh, when they get something that you're supposed to demean people and talk down to people and act like this. That's all of what she was giving. And in that very moment, I lost all respect for Miss Pat. I was like, wow. I was so shocked. And when I tell you it took the wind out of my sails, in that moment. I was like, wow. And for those people who her comedy is their brand of comedy, I can't take anything from her. She's great. What she's put together was great, but Pat definitely needs an attitude adjustment.
Welcome back to the show. You just saw a clip of your young man who worked on the Miss Pat show. And the one thing he said in that show is where she started, her humble beginnings, selling drugs in Atlanta, in the slums of Atlanta, and going to prison and so forth and so forth. And it's crazy because I listened or saw her story or heard her story. And before I move on to another situation that involves Miss Pat, I need to say my stance on these celebrities is kind of different, and it's kind of is I wouldn't say it's hurtful, but I kind of feel like if you're in the public eye, and I know we all have this thing called attitudes, we have personalities and things of that nature, but if you are in a position where you can create jobs, you can employ people, when you are able to have this stardom, there's this thing where you started from somewhere in your life as well. You didn't start to the top all at once. You took baby steps. You had to graduate. You had to walk through the trenches as well. You see what I'm saying? You had to establish yourself, I need to say. And that's crazy with these celebrities. And like I said before, we was talking about LeBron James and how, I was just reading when the video was playing, somebody said his story is the most amazing story ever. But how many other people have that same story? His father wasn't present. His father was an absentee father. He did not go to college. He did not do this. He did not do that. And it was like a rags to riches story. But how many other people out there who you do not hear about every single day, who have the same rags to riches story. You see what I'm saying? But then when they get up or come up, they have this thing where I forget where I came from. And I call that sudden amnesia, where you forgot that you was poor. You forgot that, you didn't have a meal every day. You forgot that you lived in the slums. You forgot, period. And then when you have a sudden strike of stardom, you forget all of that. You forget that you was poor. You forget. Now, nobody wants to remember when they was poor. I get that. But that does not mean that you have to look down on people. That doesn't mean that you have to treat people a certain way once you get there. Now, I'm not saying that every day is supposed to be peaches and cream. I'm not saying that every day is supposed to be blue skies and white clouds. I'm not saying that. But for a person in a position, for these celebrities that create these positions or have this sudden case of stardom, you need to remember where you came from. You need to sit down in a little place and and take a trip down memory lane and say, I was once at this place. I was once them at one time. Did I like how they treated me when I was in their shoes? Does it, some of these celebrities, and like I said, my stance on celebrities, I would never probably meet them a day in my life. I've met some in my lifetime. Some of these celebrities need to read that chapter of that book. What was it like when I was in their shoes? Have a conversation with yourself and say, I don't think I liked when my boss or my supervisor, my manager talked to me like that when I was working at McDonald's. So I can't talk to them like that now with me being in a situation. I tell people all the time, my wife, and there was a part in there where he was talking about, she said, get me my breakfast. My wife does not always cook, you know. And to me, she is the greatest cook I have ever met. My mama, yeah, hands down. She is the greatest cook that I have ever met, you know. And she says to me, babe, I'm sorry I didn't cook, and she feels bad, but I got 2 hands. You see what I'm saying? I got 10 fingers. There's nothing wrong with my hands or my 10 fingers. Most guys, they come in the house, I want my this, I want my food. But now, one, I don't get off until late. So ain't no reason for me to be eating whole 4-course meals at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night because I get off late. And I look at her and I say, hey, I don't care. I don't care. Other guys get mad because there ain't no food prepared. I know how to take my 10 fingers and my 2 hands and get my own food, Or if any stores open up late, I know how to order some food. You see what I'm saying? Now, this whole Miss Pat thing stems from a situation that happened on with Tigger. Remember Tigger in the basement? Now, she was fired. She was recently fired from V103, and that was the show. Now, I was going to play the video, but I'm black for time. But it could stem from that. I'm not even going to play that. I was going to play the video. I'm not even going to play the video now. But it could stem from that about her unprofessionalism. You see what I'm saying? But just had to say that, just had to talk about that. And I'm going to move on to my next topic, which is little boy got mad at his grandmama and made a diss track. Wow.
About the grandmother who was distraught after having to report her 15-year-old grandson missing. But there's a twist. Just a few days after Tyron Giles was reported missing, he was found. Tyron was angry that his grandmother reported him missing, so he decided to record a diss track. Don't forget on your grandson, don't make me come through with those switches. Oh God, ho, why you done lie to the whole net? Talking about I'm missing, I ain't missing, I'm just living my best. I don't wanna come back home to granny, she know what up next. She keep on talking, I send shots straight through her chest. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. The grandmother has not responded with a diss track of her own, and we're waiting for it to drop soon. I'll be the first to give the update. When it does drop, I'm Tierica with the T. Follow for more.
Shout out to Tierica with the T. And that video I found off of Instagram. Little boy is mad because grandmother is in an uproar that her grandchild is missing. And she put it on the net just like a lot of other people do. But he just took it a step further and made a diss where in the blue. I guess it's not working. Where in the blue hell do they do this? Like, you get mad at your grandmother for being concerned about your little ass and you making a diss track? Who does that? This generation today, what can I say? Hey, that is our show. I have been your host, the man that you all know and love, Edigga. This has been Conversations with Edigga. Special shout out to my special guest, Brian Snow. He is the host of Snowman in the Morning. He jumped on to talk about Bronny James coming to the NBA. We all know how Brian Snow feels about LeBron James. That's his boy. I'm going to get it in the morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you are checking me out. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure you are doing your due diligence by heading over to YouTube and checking out and subscribing to Charm City Direct TV to stay in the know of when Conversations with Edigga is live. Also, make sure you check out WLEO 26.7 online radio by going to the website WLEO267onlineradio.com. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing to the fan pages, to everything on Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we're there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until later, I holla at you when I smile at you. Peace.